Morning, afternoon, good evening. Hello, how we doing? Welcome back to the
How you doing?
Trekway with Grey Gamer 25 and myself. Do you want to tell the people why we're here today, Grey? What we're going to do? What we're discussing?
Well, the most obvious thing, of course, is they finally have released the final Picard season 3 trailer. And there are some little goodies in there that we haven't seen before. So we are going to talk about it and give our opinions about what we think about what we believe is going on, or may go on, or will go on.
Exactly.
But we'll see.
And well, it's going to be a bit of a giveaway because you've probably, hopefully, looked at the title before you clicked on it. You probably knew what it was about, but anyway, Grace told you just in case you missed that. Um, and
That's true.
we like doing specials. I like the reviews because that's the bread and butter of what we do. But I
Hmm.
do like the specials because they're a little bit different. And hopefully you guys have caught up in some of the cool interviews that Gray done with some of the Trek folks back in the early 90s. Michelle
Back in the
Forbes was up
day.
last week, aka pretty sure Gray fancied the pants off her, but Mrs. Gray will never see this. It's fine. It's all good. Right, so the trailer.
Go ahead, get me in trouble. Yeah, yeah.
The trailer we're going to talk about is the last one, like Gray said, and it came out, and quick initial impressions for me were, yeah, I loved it. I think Terry Metalis is Trek teasing us. It's the opposite of the other kind of teasing. It's a family show, so we can't go into that. So this is Trek teasing, and he's doing it very, very well. He's dangling small carrots to begin with at the start of these trailers up to bigger carrots, and he showed the most he could get away with at the moment now. So, and apparently he wanted this show to be released right about Christmas time, Gray, but Paramount went
Mhm.
no. So, I mean, probably makes sense to start a show at Christmas is probably not a great idea with the holidays.
Yeah.
Do it when everyone's still jaded and broke and it's miserable and cold. Well, not for you, Greg. But
Yeah, I don't get that.
but yeah, so we'll kick off at any point. As always, great. Jump in. We're literally just giving a review of what
Mhm.
we saw. It's just new content. Anything of rehash from old trailers, we don't go into. I don't see the point in that. And we will be giving their opinion on it at the same time as well. So it's a kind of disclaimer in that respect there. And obviously, if you don't know anything about Hollywood, what we see in the trailer could be back to front, upwards, sideways, juggled
Right.
in a ball, and it can be in any order, and that's what they do. So
Yep.
we can only go in the order that we've been given. So with that all the way, we do start with a nice opening shot. I love opening shots like this, Gray, of the
Yep.
Titan being chased by the Shrike. It's not, I was going to say Shrek there. If Shrek's chasing you, I'm running as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Maximum warp, you're not escaping Shrek. He's a big fella. But yeah, the Shrike, that new ship that looks a little bit like the one from.
Kelvin Universe.
No. Well, yeah, that as well. But
Or
also,
Nemesis. Well, Nemesis.
yeah, what was that called
Which
again?
crossed over to the Kelvin
What was
Universe.
that called again? Do you remember?
No, not offhand. The funny thing is
Ah,
that those ships, or those Romulan type ships with all the little pointy
pointy
spikes that
things
look
there.
kind of like a spider. I Some people may or may not know this, but those designs, I believe, were very heavily influenced by Babylon 5. There was a ship, the
You get them
of
from
one of the
birds, falcons, and different kinds of
yeah,
birds.
but
Yeah.
in Babylon 5 there was ancient ones, they called them, that had all kinds of really cool looking ships. And one of them was called the Shadows, and the ships
Oh, I've heard
look a
of them.
lot like those. Look a lot like those. It looks, in fact, it looks like almost a, well, actually, both the Shadows and the Vorlon ships look very much like the Shrike. I mean, it looked like they rip them off like direct. That's how much they look like it. So
Yeah.
heavy influence there, I can tell.
Yeah. No.
Somebody was a Babylon 5 fan when they created the ship.
Babylon 5. Um, well, I've still to get to. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Everybody see that? You can get these too.
Che-
Just
cheers, Gray. Cheers.
cheers. You can write in the description if
Doesn't
you want
work.
one like this.
He's supposed to cheers me here like this. Would be
Oh,
better,
right. Okay.
but
Well,
it's you can't see it. Like it's invisible.
yeah, I know it doesn't work.
It's cloaked.
Oh,
It's cloaked, man. Right. Okay. That's
oh yeah, I
another.
like that. See, that's a good one. I
See,
like that.
see, Gray. This is a little present from Gray because he's such a lovely guy. It is basically our logo, but the Star Trek insignia has always been slightly changed because lawsuits and stuff.
Yes,
So
copyright issues.
which is fair enough. It's like 3/4 the same. So can't complain.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got a lovely opening shot of the Titan being chased. Now we've seen some parts of this before, but we've never seen it to this extent. It's literally chasing after the Titan, firing torpedoes at it while the Titan is basically doing a. It makes sense. It's literally
Cartwheels,
turning.
right?
It's turning on its axis like 360 as it's
Yeah.
going forward, which makes sense. It was avoiding a lot of the torpedoes, and they don't
Sure.
look like quantum. So I think that Amanda Plummer has got a crap ship. No quantums, but they might be super weapons we've never
Oh,
heard
they
of.
might
So.
call it something else, but either way, they're nasty, I guess.
And Gray also loves the beautiful CGI as well. Is it
Well,
CGI
in
or
this
FX? I don't know. The same thing.
CGI FX same thing. Special effects is kind of like the umbrella, and then everything falls under that, I guess.
Yes.
But I like what I saw through the trailer. It's kind of funny because season 2 Picard, which we all know is crap, they hardly did any CGI. So I guess they saved the whole CGI budget
Yeah.
for this
Yeah.
series because all of a sudden you're seeing all kinds of things and ships and stuff, and like, okay, now we're
A
talking.
very good point. That is an amazing point, Gray, actually, because there looks like there is a shit ton of CGI in this season, actually. And
Yeah.
Star Trek's always been heavily focused on that. That's why they always had the quite a few filler episodes, because they had to save budget for the special effects. So, hey, I'll take it. I'll take a crap second season for an amazing third season. It's a sacrifice willing to be done.
I wouldn't, but that's another story.
I know. That's
There's nothing anybody can say in this world or another that can make me ever forget Picard season 2. Sorry.
Gray and I are going to probably sneak into Paramount Lots one day and like burn the data somewhere. So, but yeah. So, hey, another little touch after this. The Bozeman's whistle is back from various iterations of Star Trek in the past. Mostly the original series movies. You tend to see it most there, but you see it throughout Trek. I haven't seen it in a good while, Gray. It's nice it comes back.
I think the last time was Star Trek's. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think which one it was.
6?
I don't know.
No, 7.
It may have been 6.
Generations, because that's when the Kirk and all that come on. So, hey, I like this is Terra Metalis. He'll bring it. He's a Trek geek like us. He will bring in all the little nice things that we like. Now, what I loved about this, Greg, I had a little chuckle here. I tried to put on subtitles so I could catch us, but you can't. It's basically on because it's welcoming Captain Riker and Admiral Picard on board the Titan A, and there's Commander 7 there. She literally, she looks good in a uniform, man. I always loved Jerry Ryan, but she's back where she belongs, Gray. I don't think anyone begrudges her given that commander's position. I'm just glad she wasn't put straight in as captain, because that would have been wrong. By the end of this season, if she is captain, she's done really well. I maybe can buy that, but glad they never done it straight away. What do you think? You happy with that position?
Yeah, I think so too. I think rushing her right into captain would have been a little bit too soon. We know we're getting a new actor. I forgot his name. That's playing supposedly the captain of the Titan.
Captain Shaw. Yes, I don't know his name, and I don't care either.
I get this funny feeling, although I could be wrong, that Captain Shaw is earmarked to die. So at somewhere in the series, he's going to be gone.
He's gonna die. Oh yes, and good because he gets a bit cheeky and cocky. So we'll take.
I mean, whether it's he dies because or something goes on, or he runs away. I don't know. Whatever. He
runs away.
I can't see him lasting long. I mean,
I'm out of here.
I'm kind of hoping that by the end of the series that maybe 7 then becomes captain.
Well, theory.
That would be kind of cool.
Theory. I think he will die at some point. Maybe certainly within the first half or first third of the season. Because you see a lot of him not in it. and you see a lot of Picard and Riker stuff, and you see Picard in the captain's chair, so he probably takes over command for the rest of the season, and then Seven is given command at the end, kind of thing. And yeah, I'd be happy with that. Titan A is her baby, and then she jumps over to the Voyager A and says, "Thanks, Admiral Janeway." But yeah, so they're walking onto the bridge, Riker and Picard, and she's obviously announcing them. She's like, Admiral Picard and Will Riker. I can't remember what she said. She said Riker or something like that. And then he goes, Captain.
She goes, yeah, she goes, Admiral on the bridge. And then he goes, I think
Riker just announces him.
And then she goes, oh yeah, Captain on the bridge.
Yeah. He's like, I think that's what he said. That's why they get subtitles picking that up. I do love Frakes' humour, man. It's epic in this. But yeah, she forgot, so yeah, she might not get a promotion after all. We see Captain Shaw by, let's say, an actor. Gray and I don't really care who this actor is because he's just someone in to fill the spot for a while. He's not one of the peeps. So, but he's getting a bit cocky, isn't he, Gray? He's making jibes about it being quiet on the ship. There's not going to be any crashing, murders, explosions, all this kind of jazz.
Yeah.
And then you see cool shots while he's saying this of explosions everywhere. You see Beverly's ship crashing into the Titan, like proper scraping the hull of the Titan.
Yeah.
And they're just looking at him like, who's this cocky SOB, you know? To which Picard says to Riker, probably when they're leaving this ready room, those were the days, weren't they? And they certainly were. They certainly were. That I already don't like this captain, Gray. I already don't like him.
He wasn't too endearing after watching the trailer. It's kind of like, yeah, I guess we want him to die. Why not?
Do you know how many times these people have saved the universe, Shaw? Get a grip, man.
That's right. Respect. Come on now.
Respect for your elders, like probably, literally, actually. But yeah, so
this kind of plays into what we'll talk about more as we get through the review of the trailer. And these are some of the concerns I have because again, in past shows, but good shows, not the bad shows, and movies and stuff, the other characters were always pretty much revered, and for good reason.
Yeah.
When Scotty appeared on TNG and when Spock appeared on TNG, et cetera, they were very revered characters, always treated with high esteem,
and there were great openings and entrances,
and they should be, or they were quoted in a let's say in a record. Captain Kirk went to blah blah blah, or Spock did this, or Spock did, and they were always held in extra high, legends. In other words, so when he was kind of throwing this stuff, and again, it's a trailer, I get it, but when this Captain Shaw was kind of throwing barbs at more or less at the two of them, see, that starts to rub me the wrong way. I mean, it's like, okay, I get it, but don't. I'll wait until I see the series, so I'll reserve judgment. But don't be doing that. You should be having all the respect in the world for these guys. I mean, tons of it. Period.
Yeah.
So if that scene is just that one scene, fine, whatever. But if that scene's the way I think it is, and we get more of that, I want to go over there and slap that captain in the face or stick him in the airlock and open it up. I mean, that's just not going to work, for me. The diss on the characters doesn't work. But let's see. Again, we'll see.
Don't mess with Gray. He gets a little bit upset if you start taking the piss out of our main guys. Which
look, I'm not saying it because it hasn't been done. There's precedent to this going all the way back to the beginning. In every series, if they mention the prior series characters, they always speak with them in a reverence or in a high respect or even legendary, and that's the way it should be.
Agreed. No complaints from me.
Right. Yeah, so I don't want to see too much of that going on. If it's just a little bit, that's fine, but I don't want to see a lot of that going on. Put it that way.
Otherwise, you have to mess with Worf, who's coming up next. We do hear Captain Worf, because that's his rank at this stage.
Yeah.
Finally, about time. Not practicing, though, from what I believe. meaning he's not in command of a ship at that moment. I think that's what that meant from the videos and the interviews I've seen with Terry. Worf mentions that something is coming, some kind of attack, and that Starfleet could be the target, of course. But while he's saying that, because obviously they're cutting this trailer the way we want to see it rather than how it's actually happening, we see an extended shot. Remember that Enterprise F, which Gray's got behind us here? That's from the game, I think, that one. But still, it's lovely.
Well, that's where they took it from.
Well, true, yeah, but I mean, it's not CGI, is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, they never thought about taking anything from Star Trek Online before, but now this is the first time where they totally pulled it out of the game.
They pulled several ships from the game, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have to get permission for that or not, actually. That's an interesting point.
It's weird the way the legal garbage works.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But we're happy with that because there's some cracking designs in that game.
Yeah.
And that's one of the Odyssey class, I believe. But yeah, so the shot we saw way back of the teaser of the Enterprise F is extended, and it's literally heading towards, I don't know if it's Earth or just a planet in general, but there's a small fleet with it. As well as the Enterprise F, we do spot a Sovereign. Gray's seen a Sagan class there as well, which is lovely. He is going to... What are you concerned about here, Gray? What do you not like? Tell the people. They probably know what it is you don't like, but tell the people what you don't like.
Well, I mean,
I'll tell you why I don't mind.
I've seen it more than one place now that they keep on talking about how the Enterprise F is going to be, there'll be very little seen of it, and it won't have much to do at all in the series. Now, again, that it could all be garbage, or it could all be rumor, or whatever. But if it supposedly is true, I don't really like that. I think it's a mistake. I think they could have gotten the Enterprise involved in a big way if they wanted to. It could be written that way. Not that I'm saying I don't like the Titan. Yeah, I get it. I like it. And again, okay, it's a trailer, so but when you hear more than one report coming out that you're not going to see much of it, there's some truth to it. So I'm like hoping that that's not the case, and that they have. I don't expect the Enterprise F to be through the whole series. That'd be cool, but I think it should be a little more involved than just a tad here and there.
How about this? How about this, Gray? If what they're saying is it's not going to be in the show a lot, but if they use it well in the bit that it does exist in the season, i.e., it does come and save the day with the classic TNG movie era music, surely that helps alleviate your issues.
If they actually do that, that could go a long way. Yeah. Especially if you end up having Picard in charge.
He goes across to take that, and then Seven is in charge of the Titan A, and then they gang up and they're dual pew-pewing.
Well, I don't know about dueling, but the point is that they both be shooting the common enemy, right? So that would be kind of cool. And Worf would be either on the Enterprise F with Picard, or perhaps captain of another ship on top of that. Possible. I don't know.
Well, more than 2 ships, possibly.
I mean, that would be like great. Can you imagine seeing Worf being captain of whatever ship, and then Picard ends up on the F, and we have a 7 of 9 on the Titan A. Or if you really want to go bonkers at the end, you could have her on the Titan. You could have Riker on a ship. You could have Worf on a ship. You could have Picard on a ship.
Christ on
I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be cool.
Right, man, I wouldn't be able to cope with that. And then if that happened, Worf is on the Defiant A.
Okay, I'll go with that one. That'd be cool.
That's my ship. You can have the F. I love the
F.
What
the fans want to see. Let's see if they actually do that.
I do want the F, but the Defiant's my baby, obviously. Background.
Yeah.
The ship from Star Trek Nemesis is the Scimitar. I forgot. There we go.
Okay.
They're all kind of got that pointy, I'm going to stab you type thing in space, but yeah. So Gray's not happy with that. I wouldn't say I was happy with it, but I'm not sad either, because I'm saying to Gray, my argument is these are the adventures of the USS Titan. I mean, I'm making a bad pun here, but that's the hero ship for me. I'm sorry.
There is one big thing we have to know, because it's going to be automatic canon for sure, and that is who is the captain
of
of
the
the
F.
Enterprise F.
Yeah, tell us. Yeah, tell us that. I think that's fair.
They didn't say it was Worf. They didn't say it
No,
wasn't
he
Worf.
didn't tell you. No, but one thing
So
Terry has said is by the end of this season, the baton will be handed over to the next generation. So that's probably involving the F, mate. And I wouldn't be surprised if the few shots we get are actually at the very end where we see the F and they've saved the day and they're winding down. They see the F with the celebrations, and then Riker and Picard and Cole are much like Shatner and Cole when they were on, or Captain Kirk and Cole, sorry, when they were on the Enterprise B in Star Trek 7 at the beginning. You know, like handing over the baton to the next generation. Something like that could very well happen here, and I really
do you
hope
think?
it
And
does.
this is probably a stretch. Do you think that in the series we're supposedly going to see Picard's son? That's been
Well,
rumored
I'm just getting
before.
to that. I'm going to get to that right now. That's literally the next bit.
But
So,
before you get to it though, just to ponder on this, and again, I don't think it's going to happen. Would it be interesting to see whether Picard's son becomes captain of the F? Mm.
okay, let's get to the end of this point here, and then we'll discuss that because
I doubt it
I
seriously,
call
but
bullshit on
still.
that one. We see at the next part of the trailer, we see Picard pull a phaser on someone on board Beverly ship. I forgot the name of what that ship is, but it's a kind of an older kind of
The
crappy.
USS Doc.
God, where's the
Only
eject
kidding.
button? Where's the eject button? Yeah, but we'll just call it Beverly ship because I can't remember what the name of it. He's targeting someone on the bridge. You know, to be fair, when you hear his accent and you kind of add up all the rumors and stuff, the younger guy, has got an English accent, much like Picard. And, you know, any money, that's his son. You know, there's a bit of a misunderstanding or he's roped in the wrong people. I highly think it's his son. I'd imagine Gray does as well. If he takes charge of another ship later on, I bloody hope not, because you got to redeem yourself after doing bad stuff, and that's far too soon. If he was a good guy
It
from
won't
the start,
happen. It won't
maybe.
happen.
But yeah, it's probably his son. Do you agree?
What about Kirk's great grandson?
Now you're clutching
Or
it. Now you're clutching at
yeah, I know. I'm
starships,
trying to.
mate. You're clutching
I
at
know. I
starships.
know.
If only. Right, we've got the bit no one wants to talk about, Raffi. She gets.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do, mate. It's canon. It's canon. Raffi
Yeah.
gets something. You see something being injected or like beamed onto her eye.
Yes.
It's probably
Sprayed on her eye
it's
or some
probably the equivalent
stuff.
of syringes in the
Nano
far future.
somethings.
Something, man. God knows what it is. It could be drugs, considering her past. Recall that she did have drug abuse issues back in the day, and it's easy to slip back into these things. We hear Beverly say, trust no one to Picard, and he seems horrified. This whole time this is happening, the score, the music in it is excellent all the way through. Like Terry's brought the A game. He's listened to the score from TNG era and the TNG movies, and he's literally brought. I mean, the composer is gone now, unfortunately, but Goldsmith, is it? Yeah. So he's gone, but they've listened to it and they've tried to recreate that kind of music with a modern take on it, which I love. The music's been great in Star Trek in recent times, so no qualms there. Gray's got a little comment he wants to make about Raffi, something about her being your favourite character or something.
Everybody knows that I hate Raffi. I hated her in the second season. I was really disappointed that they brought her along to the third season because their reasoning was, well, we had to bring along some continuity from the second season to the third. No, you didn't.
Yeah, you had 7
You
for
didn't
that.
need her at all. You could have left them all behind. You left all of them behind except for Raffi. I mean, so you should have just left them all behind. Why they had to bring her along, I have no idea. Don't like the character. Never did like the character. And yet this character looks like she's going to be involved and be important. And I'm going like, no, I don't want her to be important. I want her to end up getting the Klingon blade through her or something like that. Because
I feel so sorry for Michelle Hurd. She's probably a very sound actress, but
I'm not nothing against the actress, but I'm sorry, she can't help that she got written into the lousiest season ever in Star Trek history. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, no,
You know,
you're not wrong. I'm not a fan of her either. I'm really not. Is she worse than
the
the
Doctor.
Doctor from the last
No, the
season, the
Doctor
Borg
is the
Queen, the
worst.
Borg Queen?
Ugh,
You hate her
please.
more. I don't. I hate Raffi more. Sorry.
I
Um,
hate the Doctor the most, and I'm Rafi's right up there. Very, very.
the
Yeah.
Raffi turned into the Borg. Sorry, the Doctor turned into the Borg Queen. That's no mean feat. That's senior CV, senior Star Trek CV. You're trying to get a job in Star Trek. That's up there. Your resume. Sorry for
Yeah.
American friends. That's a CV's a resume.
Well,
Um,
let's try to stay positive on season 3. You know, we're hoping.
we do
But if
now.
they do off Rafi soon and like halfway through the series, I would love it. Be great.
We'll do like a little minute silence for her. We then get a closer look at the bad guys because we haven't seen much of them. That it's kind of been like blink and you miss it with these bad guys. And I
Yeah.
think they're bad guys for hire, like because they look nothing like
Mm.
Amanda Plummer's character. What's Amanda Plummer's character? Vadik,
Oh,
Vadik,
Vatic,
Vadik. There we
Vatic,
go.
Vatic,
Yeah,
Vatic.
Vadik
Yeah.
doesn't sound like a female's name, but hey, Star Trek in the future. We do get a closer look at them. They're pretty ugly looking bad guys, and I like my bad guys to be ugly. They can't be good looking because I feel bad. We more beauty shots here, Gray. We do see. Oh, let's take that back. I do like CGI shots, but at the same time, Beverly's ship is a bit old and crap. You see it going to warp as you hear Riker say, "We've travelled to the far reaches of space, but something is different now." Followed by, "This is the end now, my friend," to Picard. Now, again, it's the way it's cut. It's probably just the way it's cut, to be honest with you. But Gray's got a little comment he's noted down here about our man Terry Metalis.
Yeah, he basically has said, and it was came out in the public. He's the one that said it, not me. And he says that one or more of the TNG crew does not return back safely. Now, he didn't say that necessarily they're going to die, but he did say that they don't come back safely. So apparently, one or two of the cast members are going to either be messed up, or tragically injured, or it's going to be the segue for another series, maybe. Who knows? But
Yeah.
I don't. For him to come out and say something like that, I'm a little concerned now because Raffi, I don't care if they kill her off. Who cares? But if they get too much into a character or two, and I don't know, I'm getting a little concerned as to what that would be or how that would be. The only thing that might work, I guess, in a way, would be maybe killing off Lore because again, no one cares about him either. To be honest, I mean, you do and you don't. I would care more about Lore if it wasn't for the fact that it was that season 1 and season 2 was the Brent Spiner show. I mean, that's all you saw. You saw Brent Spiner. Then Spiner's all through the
Oh,
season
yeah.
2, and now he's back again only because they felt they had to because they had to say, well, we had the cast together again, so they had to put Spiner in
Yeah.
there. I'm like, man.
It's the Brent Spider Show.
I mean, there's even fans of Data and fans out there that are saying they don't want to see Spiner anymore. They're tired of it.
Yeah, I get what
So
Terry
the
done
fans
though.
are actually saying this.
I, I get what Terry meant though, but Terry was like, "Yeah, we've seen people are mentioning we've seen a lot of them." But he said, "Yeah, no, I agree, but you can't have a TNG reunion without him." And I'm like, "You're right, Terry. I actually blame your predecessors for messing up your toolbox a little bit that you've got to play with, because he did have to bring him back, but it shouldn't have been the sense of dread we've got." And then we see Lore later on. He looks burst like a proper old man, and there's supposed to be a reason for that, probably like John Delancey style when he aged himself was curious, or be something like that.
Well, one other thing that I had seen written on the internet, which was interesting, was they said that the last time we saw Lore, he had his emotion chip pulled out by Data.
Oh,
It was in an episode. It was in an episode of
yeah.
TNG. And if that's the case, how does he get back his emotion?
Yeah, because he's very emotional in this one. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
so there is going to be some backstory to this, that they're going to
Hmm.
have to figure out. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. To be honest, with you, I don't think any of the TNG characters will be killed off. I think something will happen. Someone could get injured pretty bad, or they just go off in their own direction. I think someone like Rafi or someone could be off, then like say we're not going to be sad about that. Just leave our guys alone because we want a happy ending. We do get another shot of the Titan. This is even more impressive this time. I do like the Titan. The Titan A grey is growing on me, man. It's not
Yeah.
as bonny as the Enterprise F, but it's still it's a decent looking starship. We then see our boy Geordie LaForge without the visor on this time. I'm glad they've caught up with the futuristic technology.
Well, he didn't
Poor
have the
guy.
visor in which TNG movie? Was it the last TNG movie? He didn't have the visor either.
The whole movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been without the visor
Well, the last one was
for
Nemesis, actually. So you're right. Yeah, Nemesis, he didn't
yeah.
have it, and then Insurrection, he didn't have it for a short while, and then it would back on after. Yeah, Benjamin, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. So yeah, he's not had it for a little bit, but I'm just glad that they could have been tempted to put that back on him for nostalgia reasons, but I'm glad because the actor, LeVar Burton was probably fed up of having to put that bloody thing on all the
Sure.
time. But yeah,
Also,
so
it looks like a car air filter, like around
it does,
his
yeah.
eyes.
I mean, honestly, it's a poor guy. No one deserves that. We saw this nice shot of the Titan is actually pictured as it's approaching a starbase. What starbase it is, we don't. It's probably not the one at Earth because it looks smaller. It's just probably another one. We do see LaForge at this time, who I've spelled completely wrong, and he at this stage, I reckon, Gray. They're saying, well, in fact, it's been confirmed by Terry. He's a Commodore, so it's that kind of Admiral light, level. And I think it's probably because he's in charge of the starbase, so he's not powerful enough to be an admiral, but he's in charge of a whole complex, so Commodore.
Yeah.
They don't use that often.
Starbases are awfully big.
There was Commodore O from season 1 or 2, and then I've not known many Commodores at all in Star Trek, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, he's on the screen as Picard's talking to him, and he does look pissed off. Now, we've seen this. We've heard things and we've read things that there's a bit of beef between them, and I think it's between LaForge and Picard, and I think it's something to do with possibly his daughter being on the bridge of the Titan and just being involved. I mean, LeVar Burton has 2 daughters who are in the. Well, he's got. Is it one daughter?
I think it's one daughter.
He's got one daughter in real life, 2 daughters in the show, but his daughter in real life is on the show. I can't remember which one she's playing, but I think he's a bit pissed off that Picard's roping his daughter into this, which would maybe make sense if that's the reason. Otherwise, there's a bigger, longer beef going further back, which I don't know. For me, I want to find out what this beef's about. I don't think I'm that bothered, really, but they all have to work together, really, don't they, for it to pan out. So
yeah.
But yeah, and then Gray's mentioned here. Let's get your opinion on the Titan, Gray, because you mentioned something here. It does look a bit like the Constitution, doesn't it? Like the in fact, it is a neo-Constitution, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more of a neo-Constitution class, but it's closer to a version of looking like the 1701A, and the 1701A is my favorite ship. So basically, it's a little bit of a squash down, if that makes sense, version. But the lines but the lines are still there. Most of the lines are still there, so it really looks like a Enterprise Junior, whatever you want to call it that. And so it was looking sharp because I love that design. That design really catches your eye and looks good.
Oh yeah.
So it's a sharp ship. There's no doubt.
Sharp ship. I like it. You don't see the point in this beef between Geordie and Picard?
Well,
I mean, there could be a very good reason for it, man.
I'm not gonna again. We're just a trailer, but the thing that I don't like is you see the anger going on. Okay, fine, and then later and we'll talk about it. But later in the trailer, he's angry again, and I'm sitting there going. And then later in the trailer, you see him and he's not angry, but he's not saying anything. So I'm like, man, I don't want to see this anger thing throughout the whole series. They got to get over this. So I'm hoping that it doesn't go on too long, I guess is what I should say.
Yeah,
I want them to come to a conclusion or solve the issues on in the series than to drag the anger out all the
Yes.
way through the series. If they do draw the anger out all the way through the series, it's not going to be good.
No, they probably won't. They'll resolve their issues and
Yeah,
shake each other's hands. Have a little cup of Earl Grey tea and make up.
that's right.
Yeah. Hopefully, beef doesn't go on for too long. Wait, I noticed here after that we see the several of the TNG members enter a strange looking room that looks like something out
Hmm.
of bloody Tron or something. Now, but straight after that scene, the reason why I'm about to say what I'm about to say, we see Moriarty again. Remember him?
Hmm.
And he's saying such pathetic old warriors. Now he's obviously goading them well because Worf's probably going to give up. He's XL from violence, and he's probably just going to go and smash him up. But but we think, well, I think, and I imagine you think this as well, Gray. That's
Yeah,
probably where he's stored because the last time we saw him, he was finally defeated by thinking he'd escaped, but he's escaped into his own little world, still within a holodeck, and he's
right.
literally on a chip which they have stored somewhere. So I reckon he's stored in this place here. Do you think he's stored in this place, Gray? And if he
I,
is, why did they not just off him and delete him?
well, at the end of the episode where he disappears, they said that because he was sentient, they couldn't just kill him. So they had him wrapped up into a world or a loop or whatever you want to call it, where he seemed quite content that everything was the way he wanted it to be, and that's how they left it. So I don't know how they're going to bring Moriarty back from this because supposedly if he gets yanked back, he's going to be angry because everything was cool where they left him. So
Well, he looks
there
pissed
had
off at this stage, to be
right,
fair.
and that this could be the reason. And
Yeah,
and of course, what we're all thinking is that, well, why would they bring back Moriarty? Because Moriarty is on a level of Sherlock Holmes, and he should be able to help solve the
probably there
issue
is.
or issues going on. So they felt that going to him and getting his viewpoint on what's going on would help them in whatever's happening, which is
Yeah.
kind of an interesting little twist.
And at this stage, all the starships pretty much have holodecks all throughout their ships, so he can pretty much walk where he wants. And he probably will help them. He'll
I,
get pissed, and he might double cross them, but I think ultimately he will help them, Gray.
Maybe what'll happen is at the end of the series, the very last show, they'll find out it was all a dream. It was in the holodeck. It's not real.
Or there's a spin off with Moriarty, and him and Sherlock have their Sherlock Holmes have their own show
Yeah, there you go.
with Benedict Cumberbatch. Who does play
Uh,
Sherlock in a BBC series, and I don't know if you've ever seen that great side note.
oh
It's
yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
fantastic. Best version of
It's
Sherlock
an
I've
old
seen.
series now. It's been
Oh yeah,
out for a while, but
oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. It was
fantastic.
good.
Um, yeah, more stunning shots of the Titan keep coming. I'm not complaining. Give me all the starship candy. We
Yep.
see another brilliant shot of it. This time at warp. Always love seeing starships at warp. I don't know what it is. Great. It just looks. It
Yeah.
is CGI porn. It's lovely. And as I'm stating here, I'm not complaining about seeing more gorgeous starship shots.
Hmm.
Uh, Sun's possible, sorry, Sun's possible, Picard's possible son. That's what we're calling him. That's his character's name, by the way, in case you didn't know. Picard's possible son appears again saying, "Is everyone you know still the person you knew?" Dun dun dun. As we see a shot of
Uh,
Beverly and a phaser rifle kicking ass. Now, I thought that was a
which
crap line when I
could
first
mean
heard
the
it.
holodeck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
to be fair, you haven't seen all these people for ages. Moriarty, Lore, like, it's very possible that someone you thought you knew, you don't actually know. So maybe Jean-Luc Jr. is onto something,
Maybe.
like JLJ is onto something. Um, and it's always nice to see Beverly with a phaser rifle kicking ass. I remember seeing that. Oh, it's happened several times, but in Star Trek Insurrection, where
Hmm.
her and Troy have got the phasers, and they're kind of like absolutely kicking ass. And then Worf as well comes up to join them. No, it was Data who's up to join them, and I remember
Yeah.
making a comment about how youthful the ladies were feeling and looking in certain areas of their body because of the regeneration part of the atmosphere. Remember that scene where Data's kind of looking here at something that's a bit firmer than it used to be? Don't recall that scene, no, do you? No, you do. Now you do. Now
Not
he does.
offhand.
Now he does. I love that
No,
in
it's just
Star
the way he
Trek.
put it was funny. Well, it's nice to see Kate McSpadden. I mean, obviously everybody's older, but everybody's kind of seemed to age well. Maybe some more than others better, but depends.
Who's that, Gray?
But as far as what
Yeah,
all the
who's
characters,
aged poorly and who's aged well?
I think the one that looks probably the best is, well, it'd be a toss up between Riker and Worf.
The
They
worst
both
is
just look
Lore, though.
pretty. Yeah, well, that's because he's an android. He's not supposed to age, so it's kind of like
Yeah,
looks
but
like you've been putting on a few pounds there, and
makeup can fix
yeah,
that, mate. They just decided to not. Yeah.
not bother. Yeah,
Yeah, but you're
could have
right.
had it for
Worf
like
is the best,
aesthetic
hands
reasons.
down, mate. Hands down, Worf's the best. Looks fantastic.
Got the
Michael
white hair
Dorn.
going, looks kind of.
Michael Dorn is looking. Let's just give us the Captain Worf Chronicles.
Yeah, that's it, man. Come on.
But
They're
we do
gonna
like to see
go-
Beverly kicking ass. She's looking all right for her age. Still doing her thing. Doctor in name, but really a badass. And then I noticed after, I noted, Gray, that a weird shot comes up with the Titan crew appearing as if they saw something too bright or they're being scanned or controlled, like the
Yeah,
blue lights bit. Did you figure out what that was?
I have no clue
Opinions?
what that is because they look like they were going
It,
on an
it
acid
looked
trip
like
because they're all just
it
kind of
looked
like,
like their orgasmic beam or something, man, just
yeah,
scanned them.
something because they're sitting there just kind of like,
Oh.
"Whoa."
I was like,
And I'm like,
beam me
okay,
up,
what's
man, go
happening
for
here?
it.
I mean, geez, So
Ah.
yeah, that's
It
an
was a strange
interesting
one.
cut. Yeah,
It's
I
the
could
way
have thought of a better scene to stick in, but
it's just
okay.
random. Like, the way they cut things just makes no
Yeah, yeah.
sense. It's just eye candy. Um, as we hear LaForce saying to Picard's comment, Picard says, "This is life or death." And you want to know something? I think I've answered the question that we had before, Gray, when
Hmm.
he's still angry because he says it's always life or death, Jean-Luc. When is it not? Grey Note here, he's still mad, not liking that. But I think I know why he's mad now. He was mad at the start for the reasons we mentioned before, but now he's mad anew or still because Picard's just said a dumbass thing. Like, of course, we're always in trouble. We're probably we're like the saviors of the universe. Like, come on, don't be a dumbass, man. When is it not life or death? You expect him to just turn around, but respect for your elders and all that. We don't know what the beef is.
Right.
Hopefully, we find out what it is. But yeah, the orgasmic beam does something to the crew anyway.
It is a really weird scene. It just doesn't fit with the rest of the trailer.
It's just
I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm going like, what is wrong with these people?
yeah, I'm just glad they didn't show us Picard's face. I don't want to see someone his age getting affected by the orgasmic beam, man. It's just no.
Yeah.
um, and then
Hey.
and then we see more Starship porn. Um,
Yep.
we
More
see
Starship. Yay.
we see a brilliant shot of a. I know Gray. I don't. You could pipe in after this. I don't recall the name of this starship, but we see its
Yep.
nacelle its left nacelle getting proper blown up, and then you pan straight to Picard, like kind of head in his face,
Yeah. What
looking
happened or what
distraught,
did they
like
do? Or yeah.
it's as if he couldn't help it enough, or he couldn't help in time. It looks like that ship might go properly kablooey by I mean, sorry, if a nacelle is
Yeah.
blown up, I don't go, oh no, doom and gloom. I think this whatever ship. Do you remember what ship that was, Gray, or what design it was? But
I know. I was trying to look. I froze the frame to kind of look at it. And it was really hard for me to figure out what it was
yeah,
exactly.
I liked it anyway. It was
Um.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of like
But getting a pylon, getting a nacelle blown off your pylon is not the great. I mean, you can still maneuver. You got the other one, but
can you
still,
go
that's
to
pretty
warp with
bad.
one nacelle? I think you can, but it's like low warp, isn't it?
Yeah, you definitely would have some issues.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably going to be the ship that gets nailed by the bad guy,
Oh, there's
obviously.
more than one that gets nailed,
Yeah,
man. More than
true,
one.
true.
The Shrike is on a rampage. And then we see a random shot here of someone getting pushed into a force field. Now, I thought those things done proper damage when you went near them, but maybe this is up to date modern Trek where this is just a force field that if you touch it, you can't go past it. Nothing happens to you. This big blue
Right.
force field, and I don't know if it's Vadik or one of our goons that's pushing someone in. We think it's maybe Geordie's daughter, but it's impossible to see.
No wonder he's mad.
Well, yeah, there you go. We found out. He's just pissed off all throughout this season because of different various things. The guy. Now, one of the best line I think, or one of the best lines of this whole trailer is when Vedic says, "With each ticking moment, I will take another piece of you." Now, I think she's going to be a brilliant bad guy in this one. Gray has got an issue with this line though.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm opposite.
Why?
This is a classic line that villains deliver,
I
and
don't
I
remember
just wish
that line being said. Something similar,
Oh
maybe.
yeah, there's bad guys in so many movies that say the same thing. They just go like, "I'm gonna take a piece." I could have thought of a better line, or
It's
something.
similar. It's not exactly the same. Yes, I
Well,
hear
the
your
the
point.
thing is that it's I guess it's the whole, I'm gonna take vengeance upon you for something that you did trope. And I think
Yeah.
if that's the case, because it almost seems like it is, that trope's been used too many times. I mean, you got to be careful how you do something like that. Like they did it in Wrath of Khan, and it was perfect, because all that fit, because there was history to that. It went back. This one, I think it just seems, again, it's a trailer, but it seems to me like it's forced, and I'm just kind of like, come on, you can come up with something a little more original than that, and
Yeah.
stuff. The other thing that I kind of worry about too, but maybe I worry about it less now that I've seen this trailer, is that there's too many bad guys. So you have Vedic, you have Lore, and you have Moriarty. And when you start getting more than, and I guess you have this, whatever it is that Worf was warning that's coming. I don't know if that's Vedic or something
Could be a
else.
Star
So
Trek rogue galleries. Why could they not have a gallery full of
yeah, but
rogues?
that's something that
Huh?
you would do in the superhero movies, an Avengers movie, not a Star Trek.
Hey,
So now they're gonna have 3 to 4 villains at one time. I'm telling you, it's gonna muddy up the waters.
well, if they have a starship
You
each, the
know.
good guys, it's fine.
Okay. We'll find out. Again, I just get a little concerned that they're
Do too
trying
much.
to, what would be the right be word? They were
They're
trying
trying
to
to fit
overdo
too
it.
much.
Yeah, they're trying to overdo it by throwing everything they can into this last season. Well, if you try doing that and you throw too much, it starts to really do the opposite. But we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah, we could be surprised. Our next shot is of our favourite character, not Raffi, looking longingly at a hollow picture of a little girl. Now, I believe she only ever had a son that she lost, but maybe she does have a little girl, or it's a niece, or someone she's grown attached to. I think maybe she's lost her looking by the expression in her face. Again, it's a trailer. It's cut randomly. You don't expect to see it, but it's in there.
Needs to be out. No one cares.
Yeah, yeah. They just had to show that
Like,
she existed. She's alive in the
it's
season.
kind of like Rafi's in the series. Yeah, really. Next.
Next, well, yeah, pretty much that's what we're doing now. Next, we
Exactly.
next. I actually have written down the word here. Next, we see a smug look on Lore's face as we hear Captain Shaw shouting battle stations. Now, at this stage, it must be near the start when the battle station is happening because, like, Gray and I don't think he'll last too long. So this is probably the first big fight they have, and then we see lots of people running in charge, like as in not in charge, charging. But Gray noticed too many people in charge. Picard, Riker, Shaw. In this situation, Gray, it's Shaw that's in charge because it's his ship.
Yeah.
Only if Picard's on the one that can take over there. If he wants to, he will, but admirals tend to not do that unless they have to. So it's his ship, he does what he wants unless he's told otherwise. So Shaw's in charge, but hopefully he gets killed in that battle, and then the main guys. I sound horrible for saying that. He could be brilliant, but I kind of don't like him because he said
Yeah, it just
nasty.
seems, I don't know. It seems like ripe for the person to get blown up or something.
Maybe he changes into a red shirt really quickly before the fight or something. I don't know. But
Could be.
red shirts don't get killed anymore. It's kind of I'm not a fan of that tradition being taken away from us like that. But
Hmm.
it is what it is. Now, we're getting to the end of this. It's a bit of a long one. It's only just under 3 minutes this trailer, but Gray and I dissect things and give our opinion on it. So that's kind of how it works.
Sure.
We see Lore looking old and Hackett. Like, it's probably a John Delancey thing where he's been aged up because he's got his emotion chip back. He's looking, feeling, acting a little bit cocky. and he says something. I don't even know who's saying it to, but he basically just says survival, human nature, pal. And I like Brent Spiner when he plays Lore because he gets to use more of his acting chops.
Yeah,
I just wish he'd left some of the Sung stuff out and just stuck with Lore and Data. I would
yeah.
have been happy with that. There's more pew pew on the Titan. I mean, if this thing is not at least minimum badly damaged by the end of this, if not destroyed, it'll be a miracle. Um,
Yeah.
and outside, outside, there's a lot of firing, inside and outside. Actually, as all the troops are running into the battle, the Titan's kicking a little bit ass. I hope it's taking a pounding, so it should be. Picard then says, "Gun it." Now, okay, Ray and I have got an opinion on this.
Yeah.
What?
Where is this
This is
coming
the
from?
one time I'm going to say this, and I apologise. You get kiddies, close their ears. What the fuck? I'm sorry. That is not his saying. That is
Yeah.
what? It just
It
looks.
sounds so bizarre. It's just coming out of his mouth like got it, like he's like a 17-year-old in a fast car. Got it.
It's
Got
not a
it.
bloody. It's not a souped up sports car. It's a bloody
Exactly.
starship, man. We wanted starship to start doing donuts and stuff like. Come on.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
So yeah,
it just didn't fit. I don't know.
Green, I thought that was a bit weird, but hey, we'll get back to his sayings in a moment as we're approaching in because it kind of redeems it slightly.
Mhm.
Beautiful close up of the Titan. She's moving real fast. Again, more starship porn. Really happy with that. Now, there's a nice moment here. This is probably the best bit of the trailer for me. I want your opinion on this, Gray. Where
Mhm.
Picard says to his KNG crew sitting round the Titan, I presume's ready room table, and he says, "I need all of you. I need you all." Oh, sorry, I'll start again. Third time
I
lucky. I
need
need
you,
you,
all of
all of
you.
you. And then someone actually says back to him, I think it's Troy. We're with you always. Now, do you think that was Troy that said that? And did you like that little scene?
Sure.
That was touching moment, Gray, was it not?
Unless it was Jordy. He finally was
Voice is a little bit
making
higher
up,
than
making
usual.
up. Yeah, someone was grabbing his. Never mind. So
Um, he's in his cells.
he's
Um,
Nacelle. Yeah, that's it.
it's a nice
Yeah, I
little
thought it
moment,
was. I
that.
thought it was really good. In fact, the next three scenes that we're going to talk about,
Hmm.
I thought all three of these scenes were the feel good stuff that you want to hear from the next gen and the crew, and that's why I'm hoping that that's the kind of stuff you really want to see and hear. So I'm really, really keeping my fingers crossed and hoping that we see much more of that than we do some of the other stuff that I'm mixed on.
Yes, agreed. There is more beautiful music, and the
Hmm.
score again is continuing to be amazing for this, especially at this stage as well. We're talking about the horrible scene before that Picard said "gun it," which should have
Yeah.
been Captain Shaw's saying. Makes sense, but he doesn't have a saying, I don't think, so that should have been his.
There is also a possibility because it has happened that some things that you see in a trailer do not make it into the finished product.
Yeah, I hate that. See a final trailer? That's wrong if they do that. A final
So
trailer.
right, but if we see Gun It and there's people talking about it, and there is that they don't like it, don't be surprised
They cut it out.
if you don't see it in the series. They just go, oh, they people didn't like that. Quick, edit it out.
So what you're trying to say, Gray, is thanks possibly to our video that it may actually be removed
It's all
when
because of
Terry
our
watches
show. I
it. Yeah,
mean, we know this, and,
yeah.
you know.
True. But yeah, Picard does redeem himself a little bit because he does sit down again, presumably tighten the captain's chair, and says the famous "engage." Now that's his shtick. That's what he
Engage
says, and he's got to do it like that. Holds it back like a gun.
with the finger.
Engage.
Engage.
Um, Now, first time I think he said that in the
Now, let me
trailer.
wait before you go further. I want to back up on this.
Oh, you
Do you
do.
think? Do you think that it's possible? See, the scene is that Picard is in the center seat, which obviously is the captain position,
Hmm?
and then he has Riker, I think, on his right, and on the left, I think it was
Seven.
was it?
Yeah, because
I don't remember.
Hopefully Shaw's dead by now. So yeah.
Right now, it's possible, or what I would like to see, is that shot of those three on the Enterprise F. That could be the Enterprise F bridge,
Ooh.
and them finally getting into the ship and flying to the rescue towards the last couple episodes.
So maybe Seven
Now,
isn't on that ship then with them, if that's the case.
I mean, I'm not going to be disappointed if it isn't. Well, I guess I would be a little disappointed, but I think that's a golden moment to have that scene where we see him sitting down and doing the familiar engage. Doesn't it seem like she really needs to be
Yeah,
on the
yeah, but
Enterprise?
because Gunnet was probably for the Titan A, and
Correct.
Engage is probably for the Enterprise
But
F. Yeah,
you think about it, they're all sitting down in their usual comfortable positions, like they were in the original in their series and everything, and they're all in the right spots. And then he does the engage. I mean, if he's not on the bridge of the Enterprise,
well,
then that's a golden moment that they just blew
it is a
right
brilliant
there.
theory, Gray, and I'm actually going to back it up. I reckon that's possible. That's a possibility of what could happen because he actually, in that scene, you actually see him he's in the process of sitting down. When it cuts to him,
Mhm.
he's actually doing the sitting, and he actually sits down, comfortable, not in a rush. That's what he would do in the Enterprise D, and he would sit down with a
Yep.
smile on his face, relaxed, and then
Yep.
go engage. And that's
Yep.
probably why that's probably the Enterprise F. And hopefully it's a bit like Star Trek 7, the Generations again, where he
Hmm.
sits down on the starship again. And, he's kind of. But then he gets up again after a moment, doesn't he? He says, I can't do this. It's maybe that kind of feeling, but whoever's our captain at the time of the F goes, right, do me the honours, Admiral, would you? And he'd be like,
Sure.
does a bear shit in the woods? Yes, I'm going to do my thing. And
I'm really really hoping that that's what that is
that would be
because
cool
that sets it up perfectly because it
for the new show.
makes 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got to be. And if it isn't, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna not like it, but boy, I would be 10 times more likable if that was the truth. If
Okay.
that actually does happen. But we'll
Interesting.
see.
I look forward to finding out if that is the case or not. It's a good theory. Wrapping up the literally last bit we saw, because the last section was really the end of the trailer, but I always like to add a bonus bit at the end. We do
Mhm.
we do a little chuckle here between our two favourite characters, Picard and Riker, with Picard saying, turning around, Will, are you enjoying this? Like, question mark, because he seems like he's got a grin on his face quite a lot. To which Riker turns around with a kind of wry smile and goes, of course not, are you? Little wry smile from both of them, and then it ends
Yeah.
with brilliant music at that end. I love that very ending point.
Yeah.
Great notes here. The last 3 points we talked about. If Terry delivers them, his Christmas has been made early. Safe to say.
Now, going back to what I said before, that would also be perfect to deliver from the bridge of the F. All of it just kind of falls right in place,
No, because that sounds like
right
it's a
there.
battle thing situation potentially. They're supposed to be
Exactly.
relaxed now.
No, 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 no. They're relaxed when they sat down, and then he says engaged, and then the F goes into battle, and then that comes up. It all would just fit nice and perfect, and we'd all be geeking out like nuts.
I don't think I have any problems with that. Yeah, yeah. I think I could let that
So
one slide.
I pray we're correct about that. That would be like so good.
Yes. And there's every possibility it could happen because if they're only going to show the F a little bit, make it meaningful, give us a
Yeah,
big impact. Like,
exactly.
wow, okay, that's cool.
And then what I'd like to see, if, and I'm sure you would too, is right after that, the Enterprise F kicks freaking ass on whatever the hell's in front of it. That would just cap it off. It'd be great.
Yeah, because the Titan
It
A,
can get beat up a little bit, but it's gonna kick the crap
the
out of some.
Titan A is getting its ass handed to it in all these trailers by the strike. So you'd expect a more powerful starship has to come along to actually stomp it to the curb.
Oh, sure.
And that's
Mhm.
probably going to be F. So yeah, that's the trailer. It's a very long-winded one, but let's say it's an opinion piece. It's a review at the same
Yep.
time.
Yep.
It's useful to talk about and try and make sense of it. I'm really excited about that trailer. I'm really excited about this season. Gray is as well, but he's a bit worried at the same time, and that's just because he's got post-traumatic syndrome. He's season.
Post traumatic Shrek syndrome. So
Yeah,
that's like
well that
PTS.
it's literally when someone says season 2 of Picard, he actually jumps down into prone position as if he's been attacked. You know,
I'm trying
he's
to ignore that.
he's been
Season what?
damaged.
Season what?
You've been damaged, mate. That's all it is. Yeah, I get your concerns, mate. I think it would be very, very hard to do worse than that show. You literally have to go out your
Oh God, no.
way. You have to get your way to make it worse than season 2.
There's no way. I don't care even if it's not what we expect it to be in season 3.
It'll still be
There's
at least decent.
no way it can be as bad as season 2.
It'll be minimum good, but we're looking at for it to be excellent.
Excellent,
it
right.
won't be a 10 out of 10, nothing is, but hey, we could get very close to an 8 or 9 overall for this season potentially.
Oh my god, if we can get to 8 for the entire series,
That's a win.
I would be in heaven. That would be great.
That is a win. But yeah, we will wrap up there, guys. And do the usual call to arms. We are also on podcast platforms, whatever one you want. If you don't want the video, give us a cheeky follow at the Trekway on Twitter, because I always post any videos I have up there as well. And yeah, of course, as Grace saying, a cheeky like and or sub below. But I do love comments on YouTube videos because we get a couple of nice ones. And if you have any ideas or specials you want to see from Star Trek, please let us know. My man here, Gray, has got the GGR, Gray's Green Room Entertainment podcast. We are doing a special on that tomorrow about DC and James Gunn's big announcement. We'll be tearing him a new one. And he can be found another one. He can be found at Gray's Green Room on YouTube and podcasting platforms, and on his Twitter it is at Gray's Green Room. And last but not least, if you like a cheeky bit of gaming, we do a gaming pod every Thursday with our friend and colleague Nick at Extreme PC UK. If you just Google that, you'll literally find his Podbean website, which again, YouTube. No, he doesn't do YouTube. He does Twitch and he does audio podcasts. But yeah, I think
be in the description right down there.
It always is. Yes, always. I should just say, look at the description. Yeah. But yeah, no, we're back in like 2 weeks for Picard. No, 3.
Yeah,
2 to 16th.
Almost 2 weeks.
2 weeks on Thursday, Friday. So we'll probably end up getting another. At least one special out before then. If you get any ideas of what you want, let us know quickly. But until then, that'll be us for now. Thank you very much, Gray. Until the next time, do your thing, mate.
Live long and prosper.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.